What's up? It's your boy Enigma, back with another Mind of a Black Author podcast. And today I'm going to talk about another character from my book, Not Like Us, that's due out on January 31st. So, if you've been following the podcast, we've already talked about Caleb Webb Williams. We've already talked about Jean-Pierre J.P. Williams. Now we're going to talk about Swan. So, Swan is the female on the cover. She is a social media influencer, has the tongue tied right there. And she already has the money and everything like that, but she also has a relationship with Avi that I'll talk about here in a moment, and also one with Caleb. So when the book initially starts, you're actually reading the beginning of the end, okay? And Swan is a part of that. After that chapter, Swan disappears as we go back in time to kind of start the story from the beginning. So you'll lose track of Swan. And the reason I wrote it that way is because I wanted you to forget about her for a while. She'll come back in probably about several chapters later. So she meets Caleb at a white party. And then when she says her name, if you've been paying attention through the novel, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's the girl they were talking about when the story first started. And yes, that's true. And it was by design because I wanted you to forget about her. So when you're reintroduced to her, you've already learned a lot about Caleb and his background. And you learned about JP and his background. Now she comes into the picture and she's kind of mysterious. So one of the things you never hear about her on this book is she doesn't talk much about her past. Now it is revealed later in the story, but I'm not going to ruin that for you. But really, the only thing she's out to do is just, in her own words, she wants to be loved and she wants to be safe. That's all that she wants in life. And she has a connection with Caleb, who is married to Monique, but you'll kind of see what happens to that situation as the story progresses. And they spark a relationship, sort of. And I keep saying sort of because not really, but you'll see when you read the book. She's also heavily influenced by Avi. Now, Avi is basically the billionaire who I'll talk about in another video. And the thing about her and Avi's relationship, again, is very mysterious. There's just a lot of mystery around this character. And I wanted to make it a mystery by design. I didn't want to make it a, just straightforward story. I wanted it to be somewhat of a mystery. And she is very influential into the storyline going forward, especially when it comes to Caleb, because she has his ear and can talk him into doing certain things that he probably wouldn't do before. Now, the difference between her and Monique, not to give too much of the story away, but Monique is actually Caleb's wife when the actual story begins. And Monique has a different type of relationship with Caleb. Monique is more of a advisor. If Caleb brings something to Monique, she'll give her 2 cents on it and kind of tell him one way or another what he should do. Whereas Swan is more like submissive, like, whatever you want to do is fine. She doesn't have any opinions on anything. And there's a reason behind that. But again, it's a story detail that I don't want to talk too much about. But she's rich, so she has her money. Now, she doesn't have Caleb type money. She definitely doesn't have Avi type money. But as an influencer, she has millions of followers. She has an OnlyFans account, so she's very popular. And the reason she's at the white party is because of her popularity. Avi brings her around because she's intriguing to a lot of his guests. And so he always brings her in for certain events and things like that. And her and Avi have a relationship as she's an employer. She's also a licensed masseuse, so take what you will of that. And then that does come up a couple of times in the story with her. And when I was writing this character, what I wanted to write is a mysterious woman, but also there's something about her that speaks tragedy, if that makes sense. And one of the things that I really wanted to push there, like when things happen to her, you can kind of tell the difference of way she influences Caleb and she uses what she has to get what she wants. I mean, she's just that type of person. I mean, she has OnlyFans, and that's what she does. She uses her beauty, she uses her sexuality to entice people. And, you know, Caleb recognizes her at the white party. He can't recall off the top of his head, but he ends up recognizing who she is. And this is why people like Avi keep her around, because she can influence a great deal of people just by her looks, just by her personality and her presence. And but there's just so much built up with her. There's a lot that goes into her that I don't really reveal on, you know, off the onset. It basically builds to her storyline. And then at the end, you kind of see where she goes. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's no, I'm just gonna leave it at that because if I keep talking, I'll tell you the whole story about her. She was a great character to write, though, and I enjoyed her immensely. And just to where she went, to the person who she was, to the person she ended up with, um, you know, that's where we go with that. But if you want to find out more about this story, and get a little more information of not only Swan, but the other characters, you can check me out at www.enigmakid.com. That's www.enigmakid.com. This book, again, comes out on January 31st, and it will be available in Kindle, hard copy, and paperback formats. You can pre-order for Kindle right now, but yeah, January 31st, make sure you get your copy. It's your boy Enigma signing out. Deuces.